All right, so got the mighty Lexus GX470 here. Now this particular Lexus, I put a Eibach lift kit on it, raised it up about 3 inches, and we're running some cheap crappy tires right now. They're 33s. So what's our mission here? Well, when you lift a vehicle and you push the axles away from the frame, the track bar that keeps the axle centered under the vehicle, it pulls the axle over to one side. Now, there's a lot of debate. Generally people have a very casual view of the track bar, like when do you need an adjustable track bar? Oh, you don't need an adjustable track bar until you go over 3 inches, something crazy. But if you're a discerning individual and what you actually don't want to do is just let good be good enough and you want it to be perfect, then you're going to want to take a measurement. And what I've done is located that hole in the frame. It's the exact same spot on the other side. And I'm measuring across the tire rather than eyeballing it against the fender. And I'm going to this spot right here where it crowns over from sidewall to what actually the contact patch. And we're measuring, you might not be able to see it, but 14.5 inches on the passenger side. If we go over to the other side, which we're gonna do, locate the same hole, tape measure, make sure it's straight, and we're gonna measure, and the same spot we get 14.25. Is that a big deal? I mean, factually speaking, no, it's not. But you're gonna split the difference between 14.25 and 14.5. So we're gonna move this axle over 1/8 of an inch. Now I'll tell you why this actually makes a bigger difference than what you would realize, my perspective. When you go and you get a front end alignment done and they put their little laser heads on the wheels, they're making their adjustments when they look up at their little computer screens. All of that input is guided and calculated off of the position of the rear to the front. So when you're adjusting your front, trying to get the perfect camber, and of course some of these things aren't adjustable, but I put SPC adjustable upper control arms on here, so it's fully adjustable and you have a wide range of adjustment. Well, I don't want my front end adjusted based off calculations that are thrown off by a rear axle not being centered. You see, it's like, what it's kind of like? If you go take, let's say you have a printout and it's got some smudges and some dysfunction going on in the print, and then you take it over to the copy machine and then you print 100 copies. I mean, gradually as you keep making copies of that, it gets worse. I mean, if I think about it hard enough, it's not the perfect analogy, but my point is, if you're discerning and you want it to be good and perfect and drive the best that it can, you'll center the axle, and that way your front end alignment will actually be perfect. I mean, if I go get a perfect front end alignment and then I change the track bar in the rear to an adjustable track bar and I center the axle and I take it back, well, the measurements for the front end alignment are now going to be off. So anyway, here's our track bar, our replacement track bar. Came from Iron Man. I couldn't find it on Amazon, so I ordered it from Iron Man. I waited I mean, it must have come from Iraq. I mean, my gosh, I didn't think I was ever going to get it, but it finally showed up. So we're going to change it today, and it's going to be pretty simple. All right, so we got these two bolts here. There's one there, and I already took this one out. The nuts are welded on, so you just have to get the bolt. Can't get my impact in here, so I'm gonna bust this one loose by hand. Now, I do want to point out that when you take your measurement to figure out if your axle is centered or not, the weight of the vehicle has to be on the axle. So, yeah, not trying to be insulting, in this case it isn't obvious. Alright, I'm going to get my air ratchet. I'm going to spin this thing out. Ah, well, the other nut's welded on. This one is not. Interesting. Exhaust got in the way. Alright, there's our tracky bar. What I'm going to do is just take your bolt, put it in the new track bar, and then slide it into the other one. And then I'm going to adjust this so that it's perfect, and then I'm going to add a little bit more. So, how will I know it's perfect? Well, the bolt will tell me. I mean, I can eyeball it. You could actually eyeball all this, really, because you're actually gonna bring it to perfection when it's on the ground and has weight on it. All right, so there's perfect. Now, I'm going to estimate, you know, 1/8 of an inch and see how that works out when it's on the vehicle. Not even going to tighten these jam nuts or nothing until we're done. We'll do that on the ground. So here we go. Alright, so go. Got a little more play than I would like. But it is the same bolt. These particular bolts are 74 foot-pounds, as I recall, but look it up for yourself. Don't trust me. ideally you would torque them with a load on them because they're going to be pinched. But it's just a track bar, so keep that in mind. Alright, so now we're gonna have to fight this one for sure. Let me get set up. So what I'm gonna do is move the axle over try to anyway. Get that hole lined up. And drop the bolt in it. Okay. All right. So it's installed, and I will torque it. I'm gonna adjust it, and then I'll torque it on the ground. That'll be fun. I like laying on the ground. That's why I have a lift. It's my favorite thing to do. All right, let's see where we're at here initially. Back in our little hole. Now that one is at, hey, stupid. So right at, looks like 14 and a half. Let me just look without looking through the camera. 14 and a half. So obviously it's like I went too far because I measured it before, and went too far. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's 14 and a half. Stupid. Okay. Go back to the other side. Check and check and check. And I feel like for perfection we need to go towards the passenger side a little bit. It's very close. Alright, let me do that. Alright, so we need to move the axle towards the passenger side. Alright, we moved it towards the passenger side. This is 1 inch. That's 1 1/4 inches. Or it's universal. Alright, let's see what we got. Alright, so on the driver's side I had 2 lines past 1/4, so it should be 3/8. Then see what we got over here. I want to measure it in the exact same spot. 14 1/4, 1, 2, and man, in the 32nd, so still 3/8. So I'm calling that good. I'm going to tighten it down. All right, we did it. Good job. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You know, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfectly centered. I mean, there is a tolerance there where it would be forgiving, but like if you're really discerning and you want it to be dialed in, you really should change it. And that adjustable track bar was $125, and probably change it in 15 or 20 minutes. You know, filming it makes it take a little longer, but there's just no reason not to do it, really. So anyway, there you go. We're done.